Hi, I'm Marlene Powell from Action Coach Business Coaching. Standard Bank and KZN Top Business are so excited to be recognizing phenomenal women at the Standard Bank KZN Top Business Woman 2021. These interactive online platforms give our women an opportunity to tell their stories and offer the insights from their individual experiences and journeys. For you, our listeners who have taken your time out to join us and support our phenomenal women online, we appreciate you. And it's an opportunity for you to learn from potential role models and gain valuable insights to help your personal career and business goals. Standard Bank and KZN Top Business's aim is to inspire and celebrate on the achievements of our phenomenal women through conversation. So today, I'd like to introduce you, and please acknowledge who you are. I want people to really see and engage and embrace you. So in no particular order, because every one of you are absolutely phenomenal. First on my list here is Dunn, a rugby commentator and businesswoman. Excellent. SA Ready, RR Group CEO, Kzn Oils, Cola, JD Telecom, Champion Healthcare. Show us who you are. Catherine Clark, owner and founder of the Harvest Table. Vermoda Sharma, CEO of TAFTA. Portia Lamini, founder, Imakeni Cleaning and Industrial Solutions. Judy Stewart, CEO, Future Farmers Foundation. Samantha Watt, say what? I had to do that, sorry. Fatima Mula, Center Manager, Smart Exchange, Port Shepstone. And then Nozibele Sogoni, founder and managing director, Nozibele Solutions. We are also very pleased to welcome our special guests, Clarissa Johnston and Laura Stringmill, who have recently returned from the Tokyo Olympic Games, where they competed in the artistic swimming event as a duet. So welcome, ladies, and you guys are in for a phenomenal hour. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce our first speaker, Vermoda Sharma of TAFTA. Compassion and commitment to providing uncompromised care for the elderly is core to the work ethos that has propelled visionary Vermoda Sharma to the helm of Durban Welfare Organisation TAFTA. The organisation provides services and support to approximately 5,500 people. Vermoda has dedicated 21 years to TAFTA and has served on several local and provincial forums devoted to lobbying for rights for the elderly. Please, Vermoda, it's over to you.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for that introduction. And I must say it's absolutely electrifying to be on this platform. Thank you very much for this opportunity. Perhaps my story begins with being raised by an exceptional woman who believed that nothing in life should limit you. I am from humble beginnings, and growing up, I never considered myself poor, but we knew other people had more. And I never considered it unusual that I only owned my first pair of jeans in the second year on campus. Up until then, my mom sewed all our clothes. And I think the value she instilled into us lives through our lives. She had this absolute work ethic, and very often it was captured in her words: if you're going to do something, do it well or don't bother at all. And many times she punctuated those words with some colorful language, as moms do sometimes. My professional career brought me to TAFTA, the Association for the Aged, and being a young social worker, believing that I could change the world, I was introduced to the world of older people, my own walking libraries. And when I started at John Dunn House, I came into contact with older people who were not comfortable with just fading into the background. They had so many stories to tell, some stories of success, but some stories of things that didn't go so well. But I was inspired by all that they were and all that they are and all that they can contribute to the world. And so started my journey into this field. And my passion was definitely ignited by the work that I had done at John Dunn House in Wentworth. But throughout my career at TAFTA, I was assisted by a number of phenomenal women. Firstly, Mary Leppens, who first interviewed me and saw the potential and guided me and coached me through this network of aged care. I also acknowledge Margie van Zyl Chapman, who introduced me to the power of collaboration and networking internationally, and through our former CEO, Margie Smith, who led with passion. All of these women are giants in our sector and have such a role to play in my life. But I think when I think about my work at TAFTA, I think back on what inspires me every day. And I think what inspires me is the people who I work with, who show up every day and live out the TAFTA passion of making dignity, growth, and a meaningful life a realistic prospect for all elders. And as I sit before you today, I think I don't sit as an individual, but representing the nonprofit sector, a sector that is often overshadowed by the corporate world. And every day, colleagues of mine continue with their business, and their business is the business of caring. They run it along the same principles as any corporate, but the difference is that their bottom line is not rands and cents. The bottom line is the care and support that we offer vulnerable people in the community. So I thank you for acknowledging me, because in acknowledging me, you inspire all the people in my sector. And I think they feel hope and inspired as well to know that the work that they do also gets recognized through the work that I do. So I thank you for that. And I think just 3 quick takeouts from my story is, firstly, own your story. Be proud of it. No matter what that story is, be proud of it. The second is take every opportunity to learn and grow. And finally, I just like to leave you with the last message of help others and let others help you as well. Thank you.
And thank you so much, Pamada, for that. And yes, it is so important, especially now, about collaboration and support. You know, so many entrepreneurs and people are trying to do this on their own. Lean on each other, draw strengths from each other. That is so important, especially now. Don't do it on your own. So next up is Nozi Sogani from Nozibele Solutions. So Nozibele, whose first name means be kind, and I hope you all have been kind, is the founder and managing director of Nozibele Solutions, which was launched in 2013. She's a motivational speaker, CETA accredited mentor, and a coach, as well as a trainer. Over to you. Looking forward to hear what you have to share with us, Nozi.
Thank you so much, Marlene. Thank you so much, top KZN business women, for this platform as well. I feel so honored to be here and to be selected to be in this platform to inspire women out there who've come back, especially from my kind of background. Well, it takes determination to be an entrepreneur. It takes determination to start up with an idea. And some of the times, the cycle, one would like it to go much faster, but really when it comes to an idea that one has, it has to go through the cycle of even researching what is this idea that you have. When I started in 2018, when I relaunched my business into being a social entrepreneur, really, I had to dig deep within me to find out what is it that I offer as Nozi. And looking back, I realized that I've got internal muscles inside of me that I call them excellence, and that excellence always produced quality work. And that one muscle of being authentic as well. Another muscle inside of me that said, go out there and be limitless. And I think I'm here today because of these muscles that have carried me throughout my life journey. I've always had this concept of saying, who's my circle of influence? Who's impacting me every single day for me to come to this realization of who I am as an individual? Well, as a motivational speaker, I started off just being able to see what is the gap within the South African landscape when it comes to entrepreneurship. And a lot of the time we saw that there was a lot of big gap in terms of there's no jobs. And how do we move these people without jobs into entrepreneurship? And go beyond being a small business, go beyond being a medium business, and go into being a large organization as well, which is possible for someone who has an idea. Well, I realized that a lot of people were not making the 3-year mark. Hence, they needed motivation to even get to that point of saying, I can get to that 3-year mark. To having an idea, it's very, very important that you formulate. Even I'm at that stage now where I want to package these ideas that for the past 3 years, I've been sending it out to people in terms of the UKZN. I've been, in DUT, being an advisor there with entrepreneurs, and I've been working a lot with the municipality as well, training entrepreneurs to just unlock their mindset in terms of what is it that daily am I deciding that I want for my future. For me, time is of the essence. You have to develop yourself to the next level. I could have stayed being a receptionist or being a replenisher in the dungeons of Woolworths, but something inside of me said, push beyond the status quo, push beyond not having even funds to start a business. And I'm happy to say that even one of the representatives here, who's Louisa as well, one of the top business women, she went on and we did a business development with her, and she developed to get an international tender as well. So it's important to motivate yourself, number one, to get up, to capitalize time, to say, with the time that I've got as an entrepreneur, what is it that am I producing? And for me, talking out to people, I started off with a campaign with Inanda FM at the beginning of the year, talking about Total Makeover. That went on to me speaking with African Bank, where I've got over 4,000, just around 4,000 people who listen to me, motivating them as they transition to their day-to-day within this COVID era. And what I speak about is the power of you, the importance that you as an individual, what you bring to the table. I speak about goal settings. I actually even speak about brand you. How do you brand yourself in the midst of COVID, beyond COVID, and bringing yourself to the table? Because I really believe in this day and age and what we live on, if you don't bring who you are as a person, if you don't bring out your individuality into the space that we live in, and as authentic as best as you can be as an individual, you won't make it in this time and era. But today I'm here and I'm making it because I've told myself that I want to bring the best of who I am to the world. I want to make sure that the goals that I set for my business, for myself, for my family, because it's a community that makes you as a person and as an individual. And then branding yourself to stick out and people to say, am I kind to myself? You know, there's so many self-limiting beliefs that we might have as well as people, but I'm so glad that at this time and age, to women, I can inspire you to say, capitalize time, capitalize who you are, skill yourself to the next level, be the best you that you can be. And the world is looking for that, nothing else. The world is looking to interact with those people who are inspiring themselves to be the best themselves that they can be. Thank you so much for this opportunity as well. I know I wanted to talk more about who I am, but really as entrepreneurs, as people who are out there starting businesses, maybe your business has got down, but I want you to go back to those muscles that you have inside of you that said, I did start this business so many years ago. Let me resurrect it. Let me take it back to that next level so that you can be able to do profits. You can be able to put your heart behind this business that you're doing as well. Thanks so much, Aline.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Nazi, for that. And yes, together, everybody achieves more. And you know that we all have rough diamonds inside us. And sometimes there's just somebody there that needs to help you bring that diamond out and polish it. And that is so, so, so important. And also, you know, what's important here is that go slow to go fast, because we tend to rush into making decisions and that. And as you mentioned earlier, Nazi, is slow down, go slow to go fast, to make sure that you're going in the right direction and you're actually focusing in the right areas for you personally. All right, so next we have Judy Stewart, the Future Farmers Foundation. And Judy Stewart is an award-winning Howick dairy farmer who has always had a passion for all things agricultural. Judy is one of the South Africa's most revered dairy farmers, contributing to farming publications and representing South Africa at global conferences on dairy farming and agricultural innovations. Her brainchild, the Future Farmers Foundation, aims to cultivate skills and ignite a passion for farming and farmers between the ages of 18 and 26. Over to you, Judy.
Good evening, everybody. It's a real privilege to be with you this evening, and really an incredible honor to be amongst the other ladies that are here tonight. I can't quite believe that I'm here. I'd like to start off by saying that I was actually born to farm, and for as long as I can remember, the only thing I wanted to do was farm. So it was hard for me when I left school, and we couldn't find an agricultural college in South Africa that was open to women. They were agriculture and farming was for men only. Fortunately, that's changed, and girls get the same opportunities as young men do today, but it wasn't an option for me. When I did eventually start farming, it was tough, again, because I wasn't supposed to be farming. My father even didn't want me to farm. He didn't think it was what his daughter should be doing. And so I was rather swimming against the current. However, having started my dairy with just 3 cows, I eventually became a dairy farmer, and it was something that I really loved doing. It was really the highlight of my life to be a dairy farmer. What I would like to say about future farmers is that at one point I had many young people coming to the farm to do youth shows. They took little heifer calves and trained them for shows. And at the shows, I met some young lads from an agricultural school. And when they came to their matric year, I said to them, what are you guys going to do now that you're matriculating? And are you going to go to university or college? And they told me that they wouldn't be able to get into any tertiary education, either because their marks weren't good enough or they didn't have money. And they said they would probably go home to their communities and sit there and be unemployed. And for me, it was totally devastating to think that these passionate kids had nowhere to go. And that was the start of Future Farmers. I decided that I was going to get them onto farms, mentor them, and assist them. And I actually sent them overseas. They had great experiences in the United States and Germany. And now at Future Farmers, we are regularly sending people overseas. And it's been very, very exciting working with these wonderful young people. What I want to do is to reach as many people as I possibly can. And if we could expand our operations even further, it would be absolutely fantastic. I think we don't realize how many young people are sitting in communities today who have incredibly good brains, who have passion, and who have dreams, and they just don't have a chance. We don't have to do it for them. All we have to do is create opportunities and let them explore their potential for themselves. It's a real privilege to work with these young people, and I just can't believe what amazing talent and how inspiring they've been to me and to one another. And we're actually at a point now where we have future farmers who are becoming employers and mentors of future farmers. So it's grown into something really, really special. So thank you very much indeed for the privilege of being here today and allowing me to share the story of these incredible young people, our South Africa's most valuable resource, basically sitting in our rural communities. Thank you very much.
And thank you so much, Judy. It's absolutely amazing how, our youth is our future. And without us adding value to them and helping them, what is our future going to look like? Each one of us can help water those seeds and grow them and help them just don't know, just make a difference to everything in everyone in our communities and in our country. So, talking earlier as well with the elderly, you have your youth and you have your elderly. You've got your wise. And what happens is when you combine your youth and your elderly and you bring them together, there's amazing things that will come out of it. So how do we do that? Instead of the elderly sitting back and waiting for that time to come, there's so much knowledge in that they can impart. And us as well, as entrepreneurs, is we can add huge amounts of value. So thank you so much for that, Judy. So our next is Dawn Dunn, our rugby commentator and businesswoman. So Dawn Dunn wears many caps, but the one she is most well known for is our rugby nut. Her story is an incredible one. A previously disadvantaged Black female who grew up during apartheid in the township would not be your idea of a traditional rugby expert. Her technical knowledge together with her electric, vivacious nature bring a fresh take on the rugby commentator. Over to you, Dawn.
Hello, everybody. Hi, Marlene. Thank you so much for this incredible platform. It's just such an honor and a privilege to be with all of these wonderful ladies that have achieved at the highest level. So thank you very much from my heart to yours for that. My journey started because I have a hospitality background and I worked to open quite a few hotels and five-star lodges, etc. I then went from there into national sales and I traveled nationally and looked after several hotel groups. From there, I was approached at a business lunch, a business networking lunch, and she said to me, I've been asking around and your name keeps coming up. I would like to talk to you about starting a business in PR, media, marketing, and eventing. And the rest, as they say, is history. It has sparked an incredible journey of being able to look after people all around the world, and it's been very inspiring. But my life changed, which is quite interesting because, your journey is never done. Your journey is never done. And, even though I turned 50 this year, it's still continuing to evolve. So 9 years ago, I got a phone call from East Coast Radio, and they had been calling a few people to find out who could they speak to about having a female talk live on air about rugby. And it wasn't necessarily a female of color that they were looking for. They just wanted a female that could speak knowledgeably. Obviously, with the industry being very male dominated, they wanted a bit of a female voice. And that originated from my long letter writing, Marlene. I used to write lots of letters every week to the Sharks and the Springboks about what they needed to do, how they needed to do it. Please watch out for that guy. Because when I watch rugby, it makes sense to me. And the patterns start to emerge and it starts to develop. So the way my brain works, when I look at something, I see patterns and I can see exactly what's going to happen next. It's instinctive. And I think with a lot of women, business is also instinctive because we follow our gut, we follow our heart, we balance it out, and then we do decision-making around that. So sports, to a large extent, is also the same. It's about formulas. It's about applying certain things. At certain times, you will get a result. So they both put my name forward and they said, oh, this woman, please take her off our hands. Call her. She'll stop writing us letters. Little do they know, there's a love affair because I love rugby. I'm nuts about it. I love the business side. But for me, the last couple of years has been about focusing on athletes that achieve at the highest level. And it's also been just so incredible to be able to be part of this year, an Olympic podcast where we focused on Olympians. And that story came directly out of the turbulence that we had here in KZN. And we were all under more than house arrest because we all feared for our lives. And I just thought, you know what, guys, this isn't us. This isn't a reflection of who we are as South Africans. We're better than this. We can do better than this. And I don't want everybody to look at us in KZN and the world to say, oh, these people are useless. Look what they're doing. They can't stand together. They can't build. We can. We're better than this. And we're more than this. And that's what the Olympic podcast series came out. We did focus a bit more heavily on the females, which wasn't planned. It just, I needed to tell more stories on the lady athletes because they really inspire me. If you hear about their journeys and their storytelling. So we got the Olympic podcast series together in a week, and it's been absolutely incredible. And from that love affair and that storytelling has given birth to this incredible platform where we are now talking to a lot more female athletes and hearing their stories. And the focus is always on inspiring, it's on motivating. If you look at the gender-based violence in South Africa, ladies and gents that are listening, we are very high, but it's not a true reflection of who we are. So what we need to do is we need to get the stories out there. The males, we love them to bits, but they get more than enough love and more than enough coverage. So my focus is now to focus on those ladies and do the authentic storytelling and change the narrative so that when we start as women looking at little girls, we're going to lead from the front. And when little girls look at all these incredibly strong women that have managed to achieve under extremely difficult, challenging circumstances, when you hear about how some of our ladies, Michaela Witboy, for example, she represented South Africa for Judica this year. Her mother went to clean houses to get her to the Olympics. So it's not easy. And I want little girls to know that when they look at the panel of incredible women that we're talking to this evening, and they understand that it's never easy. Nothing worth it is ever easy. But for me, what has been really inspirational is to be able to unlock and tell these stories. Because it doesn't matter what background you come from. It doesn't matter whether you were rich or poor, whether you are educated or not. You can change the world you live in. And you can try and make the world a better place in your little way. And it's good enough. Because we as women are good enough.
Yeah, excellent, Dawn. Amazing. And we've got some Olympians talking to us just now, Clarissa and Laura. So looking forward to that. So thank you, Dawn. Yes, and I think the big thing is, our children are watching us. And they're seeing how we respond and how we react to what's going on around us. So if you look at what we've had to endure over the last year and a half, especially added to that in KZN even more so, is how are we responding to what's happening around us? Is it bringing the best out of us or not? And I think let's be cognizant of that, because yes, you talk about a male-dominant environment that you were in, and then why do we have to work harder as women to be able to stand out? And that's why now is women must just get out there, put their foot forward and push through and have a plan and say, right, this is what I'm going to go for. And we talk about pick a lane and stick to it until you've achieved the goal. And women have got tenacity. We push through this. And plus also have a look after the children and the husband and everything else in the home, plus run a business. So it's an absolute gem of DNA that we have inside us that we need to bring out more and show people what we're actually made of. And that's why you've got to stand up. Every single woman here, you need to stand up and show, because your children will watch you stand up and stand out. And that will give them the strength, and they won't have to work as hard as we've had to do in our careers getting to this point. So next is SA Reddy from Kzn Oils. SA is an accomplished businesswoman with 30 plus years of experience in the petroleum, quick service restaurant, healthcare, manufacturing, telecommunications, and distribution industries. So talk about a male-dominant industry. So I can't wait to hear what SA has to say. She's an innovative visionary and has a traceable success record. Equipped with hands-on experience in business strategy and development, she applies herself in alignment with the R Group's values, goals, and objectives. So over to you, SA. Looking forward to hearing what you have to share with us today.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening, Marlene. It's been so wonderful listening to you phenomenal ladies talking about your stories and listening to your journeys. So let me tell you a little bit about mine. And one of the things that I did at a very young age was get married to my childhood sweetheart. We were in school together. And at the age of 20 and 21, we decided we wanted to make a family together or start a life together. And starting with nothing, we decided that we were looking for the best life for our children that we plan to have. And that's when we started with various businesses. So Rajan, my husband, decided that he wanted to do plumbing. He was in plumbing and building. And I started as a housewife with no tertiary education, deciding to do his books for MUBCO at 2:00 in the morning because we had deadlines, as well as looking after a little baby. And as we were growing and as he was looking out to do other things, we then he came across the service station, and that's when we got into the fuel industry. And the kids were very young. He decided one day, he came home and he told me, I was a housewife, came home and told me that he wanted me to come to work because he wanted me to look after the financial side of things. And let's be honest, that's where the journey began. So we eventually decided that we were going to get into the energy sector, and Kzn Oils was born. We had started with just 2-3 employees. I was the paymaster, I was the debtors clerk, the creditors clerk, and every possible position that could be held in the company, that was me. And that's where we learned. We brought our kids just to work just so that we could spend time, because it was such a 24/7 job, 7 days a week. And as the business grew, we found we had more people. But I found when I was working with Rajan, my passion was to empower women. Right now, currently, most of the managers in our group of companies are female. A female handles Champion Healthcare, a female handles JD Telecoms. My daughter and I run Kzn Oils. So it's been, and I find that having females in the company, with no disrespect to the males that are listening and males in general, we're basically a bit more efficient. And, lots of people ask me, how has this journey affected you as a woman in this industry? It's been very difficult. It's been very difficult trying to get in and get the respect in a male-dominated industry. Remember, the energy industry, the fuel industry is a powerful male-dominated industry. And furthermore, you find that men out there that has been there for many years don't really listen to us when we talk. I found this particularly hard in the past 6 months because I lost my husband, and I had to take over all of this, the group of companies. Not that I didn't have the experience on the operational side, because I sat as CEO for Kzn Oils for many years. I found that people didn't really want to listen to what you had to say. And you had somebody or people asking you questions as to how you're going to manage this group, how you're going to manage without your husband being there. And, I found that all the ladies that are sitting in our companies have supported me, have supported the family to such a level. It's been phenomenal. One of my passions, now that I sit at the head of such a huge company, is mental health with women. I find that when people have been to trauma, especially this year, particularly, mental health, and especially with our females, has become such an important issue that we need to talk about. Having said that, I believe that there's so much work for us to do as females here. There's so much work that we need to accomplish as leaders in our community, in our province, in our country. There's so much work that we can do with helping children, helping the elderly. I mean, listening to Femida's speech about TAFTA has inspired me. We have so many old people around us that need our assistance. I believe with all of our ladies here, watch this space. We are going to really, really make history here. Thank you. Well done to all of us. And we look forward to hearing from you.
Excellent. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your input. And my heart goes out to you, having to now take the helm on your own. And what's amazing is, and that's what's important to everyone, is what is your culture like in your business or where you work? is that environment conducive for you to perform to your full potential? So just listening to SA's stories, her ladies have come together to support her, because you can imagine a whole lot of women in a room, there could be a totally different type of conversation. And it really is the leadership that's what's driving that coming together as a strong unit. And I think that is so powerful. So thank you so much for sharing that, and all the best. So next we have Catherine Clark, the Harvest Table. So Catherine Clark is the owner and founder of the Harvest Table, which is a family-run business in KZN. The company provides health and nutritional products across South Africa, and Catherine also educates clients on the importance of including these products in their daily lives. And we look forward to hearing your story, because you were a person, you had to go through your own health issues to be able for this to be born. So I look forward to hearing from you, Catherine.
Thanks, Marlene, and thank you for having me here tonight. It's been such an honor to hear everyone's stories. So when I was 20 years old, I was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma, and at that time I'd been sick probably for about 2 years, and no one had been able to tell me what was wrong with me. And I know many people experience something similar, where they just know that something's not right, and they go from doctor to doctor, and they just can't get the answers they're looking for. And so actually, before I was diagnosed, I decided that I needed to take my health into my own hands and change the way that I was eating, and get more sunshine in my eyes and on my skin, and just nourish myself and nourish my soul. And I'd started going on this journey of really kind of educating myself on what food was doing to my body and how to look after myself. And then I was diagnosed actually at a time where I was feeling much better, and I thought whatever was wrong with me had probably resolved itself. And I often wonder, if I hadn't gone through that journey, if my outcome would have been different, if maybe it would have been a lot worse when it had been discovered. And so I went through a process of having radiation to treat my cancer. At the time, I was 20, like I said, and at my 21st birthday, I got to stand up and say that I was now cancer-free. And really that began a new life for me, a life where I treated my body in a different way, where I really respected this body that I've been given, and really started understanding how to look after it. And that research just carried on. I'm a qualified CA, and so I was working as an accountant at the time, and for many years had wanted to start my own business, but really, I think a lot of people feel like that. I sit down and I think, well, what could I do? And what's different? What gap is there in the market? And it just never came to me until I started following what was my passion, which was now health and wellness, and started looking for products that I couldn't find in the market, products that were clean, that didn't have gluten and dairy and additives and preservatives and all those E's and all those horrible things we see on labels. And yet were convenient. I lived a very busy life. I had 2 children and a husband, and I was working, and I needed healthy foods that were convenient and quick, and I knew were going to deeply nourish my body. And so I started developing products for me and my family that were going to work for us, and we loved them, and we shared them with friends, and that's really where the Harvest Table started. And so just to encourage people who really believe that they are entrepreneurial and they have this dream in their hearts, is truly to follow your hearts, and to let your passion overflow, and to let your business flow from that. And just a few things I've learned along this path, as this business has grown quite rapidly over the last 4 years or so. I think before lockdown, we had about 5 employees, and we're now close on 50. We've grown 10 to 12 times over lockdown, as people have really started to focus on what does health and wellness mean for me. And the health industry has definitely grown substantially over this time. So I've learned to be brave. I've learned to surround myself with a really strong team of women on that journey. And people like Sam Watts on this call tonight with us is one of the women that I've surrounded myself with. I've learned to walk to my own beat. So people will often say to you, but this is how you do business, and this is how it's always done. And I have said no to some of those things. That's not how I want to do business, and that's not how I'm going to do things. And If it's not going to work, well, then it's not for me. And in fact, I found that walking to my own beat, I believe, is one of the things that has made us successful, because I've learned to listen to my intuition and go with my gut, and to be brave in that. I've learned to be flexible, and I think it's a small business advantage to be flexible, to be able to move quickly, to be able to adapt to the market. Sometimes big businesses lose that flexibility, and that is your small business advantage, and never to forget that. And I think most importantly, I've learned to be humble. So I've got a learning mindset. As much as I want to walk to my own beat, I do listen to advice. I watch and I see what's around me. Where we make mistakes as a business, we are quick to say that was wrong. If customers complain, we're quick to say, how can we help? And just to have that attitude of humility that runs throughout our business, it creates such a beautiful foundation for our staff. It creates such a safe environment for our staff. And it certainly created a happy environment for us. So if I can encourage women listening, it's just listen to that inkling in your heart, listen to your passions. Don't focus on what could I do, and pour all your energy into that. Focus on who am I, what do I have to give, and let your passions flow out from that, and let your business flow out from that, because I can truly tell you that where your business flows from your heart, that is a business that will flourish. So yeah, thank you for having me here tonight. It's been an honor.
Thank you so much, Catherine. And just listening to your story, I was just thinking while you were speaking that you have to be absolutely passionate and have a connection with what you do. Because when you're selling or involved in business and talking to people, if they don't see that you're authentic and have a belief in what you do, how are they going to believe it? And the other thing is that being in your flow as well is when you're in your flow, it's amazing what just lands on your lap. Absolutely. And you're not trying hard. So if you find that you're trying hard to do things, then is it really for you? So take cognizance of your life right now. Life is short. You have to enjoy your life to the fullest. If what you're doing right now is not helping you and giving you what you love to do, then find the path that best fits you first. Put that oxygen mask on you first, and then let's see what's around there. So thank you so much, Catherine. Fatima Muller, Dynamic Leadership Producing Results for Incubator. So Fatima joined Smart Exchange in 2015 as a center manager at the newly established branch in Port Shepstone. This branch was a game changer for the organization as its reach was expanded away from an urban area to a small town. Fatima's dynamic leadership produced amazing results as the Port Shepstone Incubator grew beyond expectations and exceeded its 3-year targets within the first year. The incubator has received local recognition by winning the Port Shepstone Mayoral Award twice since inception and contributed to the overall recognition of Smart Exchange as a provincial and national leader in the incubation ecosystem. So over to you, Fatima.
Good evening to everyone. And I must say that I'm humbled, but yet absolutely elated to be in the presence of such passionate and such passionate women who have achieved so much in their lives thus far. And I actually, I'm stumbling because it's like, I find myself at a loss. That doesn't happen often, but at a loss for words, because I feel that I'm surrounded by such greatness, such goodness, and so much of power. There is just so much of power in this webinar today. And I think we're just truly blessed to be with each other here tonight. Every story has a beginning, it has a middle, and obviously we don't know what the end of our stories will be like. But I think I'll start my story in the middle. I'll leave the beginning out for now. And I started teaching at the grand age of 34, and here in Port Shepstone, and I grew within the system, and I taught grade 10s to matrics, business studies and accounting. That was my field, and that was my passion. And I think that was possibly the most intense experience of my life in terms of achieving results, because I worked with so many kids at one go, it's no mean feat to have over 40 kids in a class, and you're trying to get all of them, to understand what's going on. Trying to get all of them to produce results, and to understand that, guys, this is your make it or break it in life. This grade 10 to grade 12 is something that you have to get right, and it was an absolutely amazing journey. And I realized something about myself at that point. It was that I want to succeed. I am going to succeed. And whoever is with me on this journey must succeed with me as well. And so I know I worked hard with the kids and I pushed them, but it was absolutely gratifying when they matriculated and when I would see them gaining these distinctions and knowing that I had some part to play and passing. For some of them to simply pass a subject like accounting, it was absolutely, fantastic. Accounting is not an easy subject. And to be with them on the journey and to see that happiness on their face, to say, what, ma'am, it was through you that, it was through your help that we passed. And that's something that you always carry within you. And it's that love that you still feel when you see these kids, wherever they see you, they pass you and they always come to you and they hug you and they still have that love and that passion and they care for you. We care for what you did for us. We know that you tried very hard. So that's something I carry within me. And then I come to my journey at Smart Exchange. It's been an absolutely fantastic journey because I joined the entrepreneurial landscape, this ecosystem that I never ever thought I would be involved in. And it's brought me into such close contact with people who want to succeed again, people who want to make something out of their lives, people who are coming from marginalized backgrounds, but who don't have the funds and don't have the facilities to make their businesses be what they want to be. And that's where we come in as Smart Exchange to provide them with the facilities, the incubation facilities, caring for them, nurturing their businesses, providing that support, providing the business development that they need, providing the facilities, everything that they would need to give them the dignity as a small business and to give them that start that they need to get their businesses going. And working in Port Shepstone, this was Smart Exchange's first foray into a small town. We managed to get the results quick and fast and develop these businesses. And as our organization has evolved, we've moved a lot into supporting innovation and innovative businesses. And that's, again, it's just become a mind-blowing experience to watch the youth and women and people who have these fantastic, great ideas coming to us. And then to be part of the journey where we support this innovative process and to watch something from ideation actually develop into a prototype that can be used now within the South African context and even globally to better the lives of people. And then comes our journey now into KwaMashu, into the Pink Precinct, where we've now expanded now into the township economies. And this is a totally different landscape again, where the facilities, you realize that people don't have the facilities. They don't even have access to internet. And that's where now we're working with companies, a company that actually works with providing internet in rural and townships through using a system called TV White Spaces. It's something that you won't find everywhere else, but which gives access to people who don't have access. It gives access to the student, to the small business, and it's going to be providing women an opportunity to own part of this infrastructure so that they can actually provide this development, now be part of this developmental process. And then we find that we have another project coming up, which is our waste co-creation project, because we realized that this is one of the huge challenges that's facing the townships. So we are now working on developing solutions and strategies to address this problem. And then we realized during COVID that our township businesses were not digitized. They didn't have access to connectivity. So they simply fell down. There was absolutely no help for them as compared to their counterparts in the urban and the town areas. So we co-created a smart exchange. We co-created a solution called the SEA Digitizer project, which actually where we've been where our SMMEs have been literally going door to door, digitizing small businesses so they are part of a digital platform. And linking them to an Uber-like service delivery that will then deliver their products. And it's just been absolutely amazing. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I know I can just see the passion in there, and I'm just so worried about time, but thank you so much. I really appreciate it. If you want to hear anything more, please have a look at what Fatima is doing. You can look at all of that information. It's absolutely awesome. So thank you so much, Fatima. I really appreciate it. So we now have Sam. Sam Watt from Say What. So Sam has a passion for influencing hearts and minds through the art of public relations. And while her core business is public relations, this includes marketing strategy, events, web development, social media, and all brand development and activation. She says we are idea generators and content creators, and I love telling our clients that we are dream chasers. So Samantha, up to you.
Thank you so much. And I must say, I'm sure like many of you, I've been on many webinars and Zoom and team meetings in the last 18 months, but I think I've never been on such a cool virtual room with this many cool chicks. And like, so I'm super inspired and super privileged. And I think you've done all great. Like, I think we were all a little bit nervous, but I think you've done wonderfully. And so just kudos to all of you. So interestingly, Say What wasn't born out of this deep-seated dream to be an entrepreneur or to own my own business. It was actually born from a dream to be the best mom and wife that I could be. So don't get me wrong, I absolutely loved my corporate job, so much so that I put it before everything. So I put it before my children. I've got 3 kids. Put it before my husband. I put it before my relationship with God, and I even put it before myself. And so I had to sort of pause and realize that I was that mom. You know, the mom that forgets their children at school, and the mom that forgets to hand in your field trip slips on time, and the mom that just lost her way and forgot what her purpose in life was. And so resigning from my job was probably the second toughest thing I've ever had to do. The most tough was obviously being courageous enough to start my own business with 0 capital, 0 safety net, 0 guarantees, really. And so I am super, super grateful that God gave me the courage to do it, and a husband who had like an unwavering support. And so in February 2017, I did open my own doors, and I will open the doors of Say What. And over the past 4.5 years, we've grown exponentially, which I'm super grateful for. In fact, over lockdown, similar to Catherine, we just grew like by 100%. In fact, like lost 2 clients and gained 10. It was just the most remarkable thing. So very, very grateful that we were able to grow that much. Portugal says that your network is your net worth. I'm going to say that again. So your network is your net worth. And I seriously could not agree more. My first clients were my ex-employers, my ex-colleagues, family, friends, many of whom are still clients today. And my current retainer clients all came through word of mouth. So even as a marketing specialist, not one of my clients that I currently have, or ones in the past even, came through a marketing initiative. It came purely through word of mouth and referrals, which if you can take anything out of that, it just showcases how powerful word of mouth marketing is. I mean, my mom always taught me that your reputation is your greatest asset, and it absolutely is 10 times over. I'm going to tell you a little secret. So I am like a mechanic with no car. So that means we have done like multiple websites over the last 4 years, and I do not have a website. And yet we have still grown. We're still working with massive corporates. And so I just want to use you to take that as an encouragement that you don't need, yes, marketing. I mean, and this is coming from a marketing strategist. Marketing is essential. It is really, really, really important to grow your business. It is valuable. However, that shouldn't be, not having the funds to market your business should not be a reason not to start. All you need is bucket loads, and I mean bucket loads, of courage, perseverance, faith, and a team of cheerleaders behind you to start. I do know we're running out of time, so I don't want to go into too much more, but I do want you, all moms that are working, we deal with one thing, and that's mom guilt. And so if you're dealing with mom guilt today, I want you to really just sit down and think about what is the one thing that you can do to change that mom guilt. For me, it was changing career paths, and it was possibly the best thing I've ever done. I'm able to watch my children play sport. I'm able to go and take them to their doctor's appointments and all those things that I'm there for memories. I'm there to spend time with them when they need me most. And that is what owning my own business has allowed for me. And that is what it has granted me. It's granted me so much more than I could ever have dreamed or like thought of. And I want that for each and every one of you. Don't live another day with mom guilt. My Say What's dream is to make sure that no brand goes unheard or unbranded ever. But my dream is to ensure that my children don't ever go unheard or unappreciated ever again. And that's what I want for you too. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Sam. I really appreciate it. And then also, yes, exactly that is, you don't have to have all the tools yourself, as long as you can enhance. So whatever you can offer and enhance in somebody else's life. I mean, as a coach, I haven't been involved in all of the industries, but as long as you know how well you're doing and what your industry is all about, we've got a tool to assist you with that. So that's all of you, how you can add value. Doesn't mean that you actually have to be also doing the same thing. All right, so let's move on to Portia. It's our last speaker until we move on to our Olympian. So Portia Imakeni, Cleaning and Industrial Solutions. She has a passion for making a difference in people's lives. And Imakeni Group is a 100% female-owned company and is started by her in 2013 after she was exposed to cleaning contractors in the companies in which she was employed. So looking forward to hearing from you, Portia.
Okay, good evening, everyone, and thank you to Standard Bank and KZN Top Business for putting this webinar together, especially to share our stories with other women. It truly is humbling and it is an honor. Before going into business full-time 8 years ago, I was working in the manufacturing industry as a chemical process engineer. Basically, I started as a process technician because I hold the BTech in chemical engineering. So I started as a process technician, worked as a chemical process engineer, and also held other managerial positions for approximately 10 years. So during that time, because this is a highly male-dominated field, I struggled with it was during that time where I realized that I had a lot of personal challenges, personal related issues, especially because I grew up without a father. So in an industry that is male-dominated, you are expected to, in most cases, what I found was that one was expected to put an effort or work 3 times harder than a man in order to gain recognition and to be recognized as capable or to be someone who has capacity to do something. So it was during that time that I discovered that I had a lot of issues with low self-esteem and issues of depression and suicidal thoughts, mainly because I felt that I was not capable. I felt that I was not enough. I felt that I was not going to be able to succeed in such a demanding sector. But I did well for a person who was struggling with those issues. But at that time also, I didn't have anybody to share these things with. So I began to recognize that they are limiting me in terms of moving up the corporate ladder or in terms of progressing in life. So I started working on them one by one, being helped by other mentors at that time. And it was during that season that I made a decision that instead of going up the corporate ladder as a senior manager or something like that, I'd rather start a company that is not just going to be profitable and sustainable, but a company that will empower and change people's lives, because I felt that that's what I was passionate about. So I focused on the cleaning and hygiene sector, mainly because it's marginalized. When I worked with contractors, I felt that they felt undermined, marginalized, and that they were not going to be able to be something or to do anything progressive in life. Hence, I started a business that would focus on empowering cleaners and general workers beyond the cleaning industry so that they do not spend the rest of their lives as cleaners. why the business? Mainly because I wanted to transfer the learnings and the things that I overcame in the manufacturing sector, transfer it to someone who is marginalized and who does not see any point in bettering their lives or developing their lives further. Help them to understand who they are and where they are going in life, so that they can be better and do something of themselves. So that's what basically we have endeavored to do in the past 8 years, even though when I transitioned to the entrepreneurial world, it was a very difficult one. I was coming from a technical background, did not have any business, any understanding of the business world. So the first 4 years was extremely tough and intense, to a point where I nearly gave up. But eventually I got a chance where I attended some programs, or I became part of a number of enterprise and supply development programs that helped me a lot in terms of enhancing my skills and helping me with regards to understanding the basics of running a business and all of that. So eventually after 4 years of running a business, we began to break through as a business. So personally, I would really like to encourage somebody who is struggling with who they are, where they are going in life, to start first by focusing on finding themselves. Find yourself and what makes you tick. What are you passionate about? I strongly feel that the success of anything has to do with who you are, what you are passionate about, and therefore you will be able to be resilient despite the challenges that you encounter. So as a person, I'm really passionate about empowerment, and I feel that the education system that we have been exposed to has focused mainly on classroom training, and there's a lot of areas that have not been touched, which we had to learn the hard way. So for me, especially with the challenges that we are facing as a country, as a nation, I strongly feel that there has to be an integrated approach when it comes to education, which should include personal development, financial literacy, classroom training, obviously, which is already happening, and also skills development. With that integrated approach, I strongly believe that we'll have people, or a youth, or the kind of people that are open-minded, that are trailblazers, that are willing to go beyond what is happening or the current circumstances, so that they can be able to create jobs, and they can also be able to affect their communities when it comes to poverty alleviation. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, Portia. Inspiring. And please, anyone who wants to know more about Portia and what she's been up to, all the information is sitting on KZN Top Business. So we now have our Olympians joining us. So it's Clarissa Johnson and Laura Stringmill, inspiring new generations in South Africa. And Clarissa and Laura have recently returned from the Tokyo Olympic Games, where they competed in the artistic swimming event as a duet. Both swimmers came out of retirement at a very young age to qualify and compete for the event while holding down full-time jobs for most of the preparation time. The Games was their first international senior competition together. So over to you, ladies. Look forward to hearing what you have to share with us.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for having us on this show, and just listening to all of your stories. I mean, a lot of people tell us our story is inspiring, but coming from us in a little bit of a different background, I think that your guys' stories are really inspiring, and also for us going forward and looking towards our new careers, our new paths. It's quite motivating to see what you guys have done, because especially we're stuck in a little bit of or for me at least, I'm stuck in a little bit of a crossroads of where to go and what to do. And I'm also self-employed. So it's really been quite nice to listen to all your stories. But basically, I started synchronized swimming when I was 5 years old, just because my sisters did it when they were at high school, and I wanted to be just like them, and carried on right up until 2019. So I did 5 world championships, and it was just getting a bit too expensive financially, and I wasn't able to, keep putting in the finances and working and all of that on top. And so then I retired. And then in 2020, just before COVID, I found out that they were sending us to Olympics, And my previous duet partner already had a new partner. So this is when I started looking for a new duet partner, phoning whoever I could around to find out if anybody was willing to be crazy enough to take on the challenge and win the Olympic trials that we had in that was supposed to be in 10 weeks time. So that's when I contacted Clarissa.
Hi everyone. So I also started synchronized swimming, or artistic swimming as it's now known, when I was much younger, and I went on and studied in the US. And I actually stopped for mental health reasons because of an eating disorder. And just listening to Dawn's words, your journey's never over, I really thought that I was done. I needed to look after myself and step out of an environment that hadn't been right for me. So 8 years later, when Laura messaged me and she said, hey, I got your number from a friend, can I call you? And she explained her situation, and she was looking for a partner, and the trials were only in 10 weeks time. So I thought, well, what have I got to lose? I was working full time, and I was also studying my master's at UCT, and I just finished that. So I thought, well, I've got some time. And then, as we know, Cyril locked us down last year in March. And then as difficult as lockdown was, and as difficult as COVID has been, we've actually both just recovered from COVID. It gave us an extra year because the Olympics had been delayed. So we took that as an opportunity. And we were just talking earlier, we were running up and down the stairs in my apartment building when the gyms were closed. We volunteered at a soup kitchen in level 5 because that gave us permits to at least meet up at the soup kitchen, and then
do a good cause.
For a good cause, and because Laura is a swimming teacher, so she obviously couldn't work for several months, so we needed to stay busy. Pools were opened and closed and opened and closed. So at one point we were just swimming in a baby learn to swim pool. There were lots of challenges, and then we also had lots of support along the way. So we even, once we won the South African qualifier in April of this year, we went and lived with our coach, Vicky, and her family full time in Johannesburg. And we relocated from Cape Town for a few months and took time off from work. So it's been, I think when people see the Olympics, it seems like a very unreal event, but it's all of those Olympians, and I think we saw it with Simone Biles, they're all humans, and they all have struggles and sort of, these crazy hurdles to get there. And I think we just want to encourage everyone. I think for us, there was something every day that went wrong. Sometimes it was our fault, like, one of us hadn't got petrol on the way to practice, so we were late. Sometimes it wasn't our fault, but there's always going to be ups and downs. And if you have the right support team and you just remember what your goal is, then you really can do it.
Yeah, and also just lean on the people that are around you. I think a lot of times, luckily we had both of us, and we both knew what we were going through. And when it was hard, I would say to Clarissa, I need you to take control. And when it was easy, or when one of us was in a really good mood, it was a lot easier to persevere and push forward. So we really had that open communication of trying to, lean on each other when we needed support. So I think that was a really cool thing, and a really different thing compared to both of our synchro careers in the past. So yeah, just whoever you have, whatever support you have around you, use it. I mean, people are never going to say no when you're open and you need support and you need motivation or anything.
Sure. Excellent. And where there's a will, there's a way. And also finding ways of being creative, and opportunities must come your way. So it's either you're going to give up or you're going to just push through and move forward. So that's why your why and your purpose has to be so strong. So thank you so much. Very inspiring. And what we're going to do now, everyone has had an opportunity to speak. And so we would love to just share a video from Standard Bank for all of us ladies here. And then we're going to end with Portia Tembo, who is our manager distribution and client coverage for Dolphin Coast area and KZN. So looking forward to the video.
Africa means business. It's not just somewhere to invest. It's where we live, work, and build for the future. It's a beautiful continent whose resources need to be protected in order for her to grow. We believe that when you do business the right way, it can be as good for profitability as it is for sustainability. Which is why we're seeking businesses that align to our ambitions of promoting African growth through positive change. We're here for people, here for business, here for dreams. The kind of dreams that turn a signature on a dotted line into power for a classroom, marking the beginnings of a blueprint for eco-friendly student housing. We're driving sustainable growth across the continent, not just because it's smart business, but because it cultivates the place that we call home to. Because to us, it's the human story that matters just as much as the business story. And if we write it together, the world will read of our success. Standard Bank, it can be.
All right, excellent. And Portia, it's over to you to just share with us, what is the one area of Standard Bank that you know can make a significant difference to our ladies here who've done phenomenally well, and also everybody who's watching today. So over to you, Portia.
Thank you, Marlene. Thank you, Marlene. Before I answer your question, I first would like to say well done to the ladies that have gone before me, that have shared their beautiful and inspirational stories. We really, really do salute you. So at Standard Bank, we have various products with amazing benefits. However, the most suitable one based on this audience would be our Standard Bank business credit card. You can easily pay and manage operational expenses like your business travel as well as entertainment. You also get to enjoy interest-free credits if you pay your balance within 55 days, which is fantastic because it allows them for easier cash flow management. It's also globally accepted, and I love the fact that you have an option to choose between MasterCard and Visa commercial card, which is also quite fantastic. It also then comes with an added benefit in terms of the UCount rewards point, where you get rewards point back to your pocket in a form of money and points. So we all love that. And you also have control really of managing the spend limit that you would like to spend in line with your needs as well as your budget. So you can actually access that card through our Standard Bank app as well as internet banking. I could really go on whole evening, but lastly, to have a Standard Bank credit card, it's not only limited to a Standard Bank transactional account holder. Even if you do not hold a Standard Bank transactional account, you could also still apply for the facility. So Standard Bank, it can be. Thank you, Marlene.
Pleasure. Thank you so much, Portia. And what's really important is understanding the bank that you're working with. Is the bank taking care of you like you take care of your clients? And also, are you using the right facilities that are complementing your business and that you are able to give a good customer service delivery with your clients? So very important to understand that. And thanks again, Portia. And you know what? We were supposed to finish at past, and the guy, just your feedback, I couldn't stop you. It's like so hard to stop, and I wish we could do this for a much longer time. So thank you guys for trying to keep on time as much as possible without me interrupting you. Thank you, audience, for being with us and supporting us. And please know that if you want to find out anything more on how to participate or be nominated as an inspiring woman, please email Tracy at topbusiness.co.za. Woman inspiring woman. We can all do this together. So thank you all so much. And I'm going to say over and out until we meet in October, and we'll confirm those dates for you in our next broadcast. So thank you all very much.